What is up, ladies and gents? So I wanted to talk to you guys today about the fam in particular, and about one fam in particular, and that is the infamous, ever loyal, fiercely ever loyal Mumma Donz. Now, Mumma Donz has become probably one of the most well-known IFAM. The way that I think the thing that really stands out about her is the way that she gets so defensive, because I think this is something that stands out to a lot of people these days in general. It's the fact that the IFAM gets so defensive over a family that they don't even know. And I guess they could say the same thing to us. Why do you hate so much on the family you don't even know? It's like they won't see anything wrong. They'll never see anything wrong in the fact that they're choosing to defend Chris and Sarah. And no matter how many times people call them out for it, they'll still refuse to accept that it looks a bit weird, them defending a family they don't know. Mumma Donz, there's no words to really describe her in general. I think she's shown people what she's really like, and I think we've seen, very good examples of just how vile she can really be, to people, and just how far she's willing to go to try, in her defense of Chris and Sarah. At first I did, I actually admit, at first I did think that she was one of the Inhams, either Chris or Sarah, using a fake name, but obviously she's not. But then I had to think, well, the way that she's defending them, she has to be related to them in some way. Because why else would someone, get so defensive over them unless they're over a family that they didn't even know, unless they were related to them. As I said in the video I put out on Sunday, if they knew the Inhams personally, or they had a personal that they were related to them in some way, I would be I would be a lot more understandable as to why, the IFAM get so defensive and what their reasons are for that. Because it does look a bit weird, the fact that people are willing to get so defensive over a family they don't even know. And they can't blame people for thinking that it looks a bit weird or that it looks a bit bizarre, the fact that they get so defensive over a family they don't even know, and they wonder why people are calling them out. Mumma Donz has even shown up on the Huge channel on a couple of occasions, commenting on there as well. Now, what's funny about that, right? They hate, you see, I've seen them in comments on the Inhams channel, slagging the Huge channel off, saying, telling everyone to report his channel and this, that, and the other. But they still go over there and they're still watching his videos and they're still commenting, on the videos he puts out there. They absolutely, they 100% disagree with what he's doing, or, with what he's doing, they think it's wrong. They still come on his channel and comment all the time. They're still there, they're still there watching his videos, and it's like, whenever anyone posts a negative comment on the Inhams channel, the IFAM are always saying, if you don't like it, don't watch. Well, the same kind of goes for them with their Huge channel as well. If they don't like what Doodle puts out there on YouTube, don't watch. It's purely that simple. If you don't like what Doodle is putting out on his channel, then don't watch it. It's not like they're under any sort of legal obligation to actually watch the videos that Doodle puts out on his channel. You know, if people don't agree with what he does or the way that he does it, don't watch his videos. It's purely that simple. You know, I, for one, am one of those people that will, you know, applaud Doodle for the work that he's doing or for what he's trying to do. You know, and what the iPhone don't understand is that Doodle is trying to raise awareness to child exploitation and things like that on the platform on YouTube. You know, it's like, you know, I find it hard seeing people slagging off, you know, Doodle so much. It's like when I see people saying negative comments about Doodle's channel and things like that, I find it hard not to have a go at those people, because I feel like, you know, they're having a go about a go at him over what he does, but the problem is here, is they don't actually understand what he's doing. They don't actually understand the fact that he's trying to raise awareness to the fact that, you know, to child exploitation. You know, it's that simple. You know, I mean, Mumma donz, right? She says, "Oh, you know, I donate money to his charities and things like that." Blah 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 blah. Yeah, she's someone who's actually willing to defend child exploitation online. You know, I mean, that makes her look incredibly bad. The fact that she's in, you know, it's what at the end of the day, what people like Mumma donz are doing is they're basically enabling Chris and Sarah to continue exploiting their kids every single day. That's what the iFam are enabling Chris and Sarah to do. Is they are enabling Chris and Sarah to continue exploiting their children. You know, by them posting, you know, by them defending them every day, you know, jumping on anyone who says anything negative about them, you know, jumping to their, you know, acting like their bodyguards or whatever. They're continuing to enable Chris and Sarah to do, you know, to basically exploit their kids, you know. You know, this is what people need to look at. Chris and Sarah are exploiting their kids. Regardless of what any of the iFam have to say on that, that is exactly what Chris and Sarah are doing, and it's what they have been doing for the last, you know, 8 years or so. They have been exploiting their kids for money. You know, that is the only reason that Chris and Sarah have ever been doing YouTube. It's never been about creating memories. It's never been about anything like that. It's always been about you know, for them in particular, it's always been about making money. And same goes for a lot of the other family vloggers out there who are putting their kids out there online. The only reason that these parents are putting their kids out there online is so that they can make money from that. There's no other reason for them putting their kids out there online. You know, all the parents want is the money that the kids are bringing in. You know, at the end of the day, it's like the fact that people are defending Chris after what he did or after what he's been accused of. It's like that fact and that fact alone is absolutely shocking. The fact that they would defend Chris after what he was accused of. You know, it baffles me sometimes, it really does. I mean, let's face it, right? It makes me laugh how Chris and Sarah can't even fight their own battles. You know, they can't fight, you know, well, I mean, they don't even need to fight their own battles. I mean, it's like, why would Chris and Sarah need to fight their own battles when the iFam are constantly jumping in and are constantly fighting their battles for them? Which is the main problem here, is the fact that the iFam are constantly jumping in and constantly fighting their own battles for them. Which is what which is a matter of fact. You know, the NMs don't need that. They don't need people jumping in and fighting their battles for them. You know, I mean, why would they when the IFAM ultimately go fighting their battles for them? It's just, no, it's a simple thing really at the end of the day. I mean, it's just one of those situations that you look at and you think, well, why do people get so defensive over, why do they get so defensive over a family they don't even know? Like, you post you say anything even remotely negative about the Inhams, and the IFAM come down on you like a ton of bricks. They will, they will jump on you so badly. You don't just get one IFAM jumping on you. You get a whole bunch of IFAM jumping on you like a pack of savage guard dogs. If you've dared to say, purely because if you've dared to say something that wasn't hissing Sarah's backsides as such. That's what they don't like, is the fact that not everyone is willing to hiss Sarah's backsides every single day. That's what people like Mumma donz can't stand. She here's his people on her channel bullying kids, right? But I've watched a lot of Doodle's videos, and I've read a lot of the comments that are posted on his videos, and you don't ever really see comments on his channel that you would class as people being bullied, like as bullying kind of comments. It's not like you don't really tend to see comments where people are bullying kids or anything like that, or saying anything nasty about the kids. Because this is the thing, you look at the comments on the Doodle channel, no one ever says anything nasty about the kids. Because it's not the kids that people have an issue with. What Mumma donz is basically saying is that we're bullying the kids, so we must have an issue with the kids. We don't. We're trying to, we're kind of sticking up for them here. We are, we're fighting that fight against child exploitation. We're not trying to bully kids or anything like that, because we don't have a problem with the kids, with those kids. We don't have a problem with the kids. It's not them we have an issue with. We have an issue with the fact that their parents are choosing to exploit them for money. That is what we don't agree with. And some of these parents out there are exploiting their kids in such a vile, disgusting way, and they're basically being defended for it. People are actually willing to stick up for them and say, well, they're not doing anything wrong. And that really does baffle me in this day and age, the fact that people could stick up for these family, but that anyone could stick up for one of these family vloggers and say they're not doing anything wrong. People really need to start opening up their eyes a little bit and actually looking at what's really going on. And starting to, but the problem with with the IFAM in particular, the IFAM are beyond help at this point. They will never ever get their heads out of Chris and Sarah's backsides. And that is what they need to do. They need to start getting their heads out of Chris and Sarah's backsides and stop defending them over every single little thing they do. It's like every little thing they say or do, they're ready to defend them over. It's like, basically in the eyes of the IFAM, Chris and Sarah can do no wrong. It's like, they do, that sometimes, you can't help but call them out for the certain things they do. Sometimes, you have to call them out for certain things, and you have to say, well, look, you have to say, certain things, and it's like, I mean, who looks, I don't know who, at the end of the day, who looks worse here? The people that are actually fighting child exploitation, or those that are actually enabling these parents to exploit their kids. I would say that the worst people in this situation are the people that are enabling these parents to continue exploiting their kids. Because there's no words for that. You know, it does make me angry knowing that people are basically continuing to enable these parents to exploit their kids. That's what people are doing. As I said, by defending these parents every day and sticking up for them, they're basically, you know, enabling these parents to continue exploiting their kids and using YouTube as a platform to do that, basically. You know, it's just sad. This is what these parents are doing. Is they're basically using YouTube as a platform to exploit their kids. But what people need to think about, right? Yeah, things might look all pitch perfect on camera, but that's how they make things look. These family vloggers are always trying to make things look, you know, pitch perfect on camera. You know, they don't want people seeing that things are not, you know, that things are not 100%, you know, all that great on camera. They don't want, you know, they don't want people to see the real side to them, you know, because I think there is a completely different side to these family vloggers that we very rarely get to see on camera. You know, because they very rarely show that, you know, that there's a different side to them. But I think that a lot they are very, very different. I very well imagine that they are very, very different. You know, the things, you know, that they are very, very different behind the scenes. You know, I imagine that, you know, what we see on camera, we see what we see on camera, but I can imagine that things are a lot worse, you know, off camera. You know, I can imagine that there's a lot more, like, on camera, things don't seem too bad. But I can imagine that off camera there's probably a lot more tension. You know, the kids are, you know, are probably a lot more, nervous, are probably a lot more scared. You know, I've often felt for the internet kids. I can't imagine how they must feel like. You know, they must have, you know, they must be so frightened when Chris and Sarah are recording. You know, they must be frightened to kind of make a sound, as they get yelled at. Because we've seen that. You know, we've seen that infamous clip of Sarah and yelling at Isla for ruining that clip, which will obviously go down as one of the biggest moments in the last few years for DNMs. Obviously, one of the biggest moments we've actually seen them show on camera. You know, and it will never be forgotten about, for sure, you know. But, I mean, obviously, you know, as I said, mumma donz. I don't think there's anybody, any of the IFAM who are worse than her. You know, she and Tracy Jacobs are two of the worst, in my honest opinion. You know, the way that, as I said, the way they get so defensive, you would think that they were related to the Inhams in some way, or they had some kind of personal connection to them. Because that's the only explanation for them being so defensive over a family they don't even know. Is that they are in fact related to them, or they have some kind of personal connection to the family in some way, shape, or form. Because why else would they get so defensive over a family they don't know, unless they have some kind of personal connection to the family in general? You know, this is what I'm saying. You know, the way they get so defensive, you would think they probably did have a personal connection to the family in some way, shape, or form. I mean, it's just a mad situation at the end of the day. You know, I have no other words to say. I don't even know what to say at this point, other than some of these IFAM are absolutely, you know, batshit crazy, and mumma donz is a very good example of that. You know, we've seen proof of how rude and how nasty she can be to people who post negative comments about or have something negative to say about the Inhams. But what people like her don't realise is that by her continuing to defend Chris and Sarah and people, and things like that, she's basically one of the many people who are basically enabling Chris and Sarah to continue exploiting their kids. You know, she's enabling them to do that. It's ridiculous at the end of the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you for another one very soon. Bye bye.